I've been pretty lucky to, have all the support networks around me support me through everything that I've tried to do and have encouraged me to do. And I think there's still a long way to go with infrastructural sort of requirements. And I think that's something that society's starting to get its head around, and understanding that we're all, humans, and we're all have equal right to access a building or a facility or an activity. And I think that's something that is not going to change overnight, but there's some really good positive movement, but there's still a long way to go.
Curtis Mcgrath, welcome to the Trips and Global on Wheels podcast hour.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
I hope you're ready to talk and dive deep, because we're going to cover a number of different topics. And I just want to let you know that if there are any questions that you're uncomfortable answering, you don't have to answer them, okay?
No worries. Cheers.
And so I just wanted, with the first question, I want to open with, You joined the disability community later in life, right, at age 24. So, and after being being an able-bodied person for 24 years. So do you feel that there is a large distance between you and the able-bodied community now due to attitudinal and infrastructural barriers that do exist?
I would say not as prevalent as what some other people might have experienced in the past. I've been pretty lucky to, have all the support networks around me support me through everything that I've tried to do and have encouraged me to do. And I think there's still a long way to go with infrastructural sort of requirements. And I think that's something that society's starting to get its head around, and understanding that we're all, humans, and we're all have equal right to access a building or a facility or an activity. And I think that's something that is not going to change overnight, but there's some really good positive movement, but there's still a long way to go.
And what are some myths or misconceptions that you've learned along the way that able-bodied people have about individuals with disabilities? What prejudices and discriminations have you faced that you didn't necessarily have to deal with before, if relevant?
I guess it's organisations or situations which you're dealing with large like corporations that have set out their ways and have sort of stuck in their old ways. And I'm going to point the finger at maybe the aviation industry, and they're trying really hard to make it accessible and everything like that. But just the fact of I can't sit in an exit row on an aircraft because they deem me unable to be of assistance to lift the door out, if in the event of an emergency, but yet they'll get, a 75-year-old woman that doesn't look like she's been to the gym one day in her life, and she's allowed to sit there. And it's sort of like this assumption of ability just because I look different or I am different. And I'd understand that, if I was missing both my arms, there might be an issue there, or it's sort of the common sense approach doesn't always get applied to dealing with people's disabilities, and even just asking them. I think that's one of the things that I found that wasn't as normal. Asking people, what would you like? How would you like to do this? How do you think you can do this? Or, how can we help you do this? Rather than, no, you can't do this because, and it's sort of assuming that we're already more disabled than what we actually are. And I wouldn't call it, personal discrimination. It's just a discrimination of stereotype. And, like I was saying at the start, it's still a long way to go there.
So did you feel that you have to overcompensate in any way, shape, or form due to any, insecurities caused by your disabilities to your girlfriend, parents, or friends? Just broadening that scope. If yes, can you give us some vivid examples and tell us how you worked through it all?
I think the answer to that question for me is no. I worked, with everyone, and everyone worked with me in order to recover and rehabilitate and to get better. And that was my pure and so focused goal right from the get-go, that I was trying to get better, and having that sort of goal-orientated mindset allowed me to not show other people, but tell other people, this is what I'm doing. And if you want to help me do that, let's go together. And that enabled them, and then to understand me and my mindset about what I was trying to do and how I wanted to spend my time, on a day-to-day basis. But then when it comes to the things that I used to do and couldn't do anymore, I would sort of just push them aside and keep going. And that was one of the things that it's difficult because, like we were saying, the things we used to do or I used to do now I can't do, not can't, but just haven't got around to addressing that challenge. And that challenge for me right now, I really, really, really wanted to go skiing this winter down south in the mountains, but because of the COVID situation, it's sort of made going over to the next state over is difficult, and the equipment hire and all that sort of thing. And then having Rachel and my friends understand that I can't go because of the COVID, but they can go because their equipment and their state is fine. And understanding that I'm missing a couple of limbs, but at the same time I've got 4 sets of legs that no one else has got, and I've managed to rehabilitate and use the goal-orientated process mindset to focus on something and get through it, and that helps them understand also why I'm pushing that way, or not pushing, but working towards. And that's been a very interesting thing for me to learn about myself.